Tinubu was on May 29, 2023, sworn in as Nigeria's president, and there seems to be a sense of anticipation, intrigue, and anxiety among Nigerians. His February 25 victory is a significant milestone in the country's political landscape and didn't come without challenges and controversies. In his inaugural speech, Tinubu extended olive branch to his opponents regardless of creed and tribe. He also hit the ground running as he had vowed, declaring a removal of fuel subsidy, a decision that has been condemned and commended by different stakeholders. We have joining us on the show now a former House of Reps spokesperson, Eseme Eyiboh, to discuss Tinubu's presidency, inaugural address, election of National Assembly leadership race, and more. Good afternoon and welcome to Arise News. Eseme, good to see you.
A very good afternoon to you, and I'm quite pleased to be with you this afternoon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's start with the constituency that you used to hold sway as a spokesperson in terms of what this battle looks like at the moment. There is a massive amount of concern that it could roller coaster, it could nosedive, it could go up, whichever way it is, depending on who is speaking at the time. What is your assessment of what looks like a battle royale in a few days' time when the election of the leadership of the National Assembly is expected to happen? First
and foremost, I need to bring to the table one very critical issue here. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu Asiwaju, as at 12 midnight before his inauguration, he was that person, that politician, that strategist. But the moment he was admitted on oath as the president of the republic, he's a different person completely. To that extent, I think knowing that he's a strategist, he will mobilize and weld together various welter of forces to make sure that we have a stable National Assembly. For the Senate, it is given. Because you will bear with me that what is going on now among senators-elect is a situation of complete comfort, with Senator Godswill Akpabio and Jibrin as the Senate President and Deputy. Of course, you know that that is going to be an effective connecting rod for the President to be able to enforce the issues of legislative agenda. What I'm saying here is that those lofty ideas of Mr. President cannot be effected without a legislative framework, without a legal framework. And when you talk about the legal framework, you are talking about the powers of the National Assembly as enshrined in Section 4, Sub 1 of the Constitution, which of course espouses that the legislative powers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall rest in the Senate and House of Representatives. So National Assembly is in the heart, is very central to the implementation of the agenda of Mr. President. Then for the House of Representatives, I have no doubt in my mind that that is going to be resolved in the days ahead, because what's going on now is expectedly a democratic process of people trying to express themselves in a free society. And indeed, they are doing that, they are selling themselves. And any moment from here, you now begin to witness the issue of people coming together, galvanizing themselves, coming together for national interest. So what is very key here is preparing to have a National Assembly leadership that will be able to buy in and give a constructive engagement, give a constructive support, and create a platform where there will be that robust administration of the current government.
Duly noted. Now, when it comes to, when you look at take a close look at the inaugural address by the president, he touched on so many crucial areas. But there was some feedback by analysts that did say that some crucial issues were not addressed. For instance, there was no attempt to address diasporans or Nigerians who are probably looking to explore other options in terms of migrating elsewhere. Of course, you might have heard about the 52% that are looking to migrate in the next 1 year. Do you think that was the case, that there were crucial areas that were not touched or addressed by the president during his inaugural address?
Well, the economics of the president's inaugural address, to my mind, was very healthy and very robust. Take, for example, if you drive maybe a car like a Range Rover or a car like QX Infiniti carrying about 95 liters of fuel, and now you fuel it twice or thrice in a week, depends on the level of consumption. And now the subsidy of that vehicle, 95 liters of fuel, and then if you do that twice in a week, that is about 190 liters. Government is subsidizing for you, an individual, the rich. Then a 30-seater bus that carries the passengers from, let's say, Kubwa to town and back to Kubwa will be using 55 liters of fuel every day from Monday through Friday. That same fuel. Meaning that if it carries 30 people from Abuja to Kubwa, from Kubwa back, that is 60% a day. And to carry that for 5 days, it means 300 persons. So the government is subsidizing 55 liters of fuel for 300 persons, whereas it's subsidizing 190 liters for the big man who is driving the Range and the QX. The question now is, who benefits from the subsidy? Of course, it's the rich man. So the issue of subsidy, to me, is an issue where there's going to be some element of discomfort, but I want Nigerians to all look at the fact that if you want to do a construction of a road now, a major highway, some people will come, oh, there was no payment of compensation. Some people will say, oh, there is no more road for us to go through. There will be a lot of inconvenience. But by the time it becomes a highway, it becomes an asphalted road, everybody will enjoy that road. That is what is going to happen in the issue of subsidy. And I'm thinking that Nigerians should be a little bit patient to see what is going to come out of it. But my problem basically is that the president may mean well, as it were. He means very well. And I have 100% confidence in him. And remember, this is the first and only president from independent who was elected on his own from the private sector mentality to come out to become the president of Nigeria. The rest from 1960 till date have always been sponsored by one group or the other, one political party. This is the only man from the private sector mentality that has come out to put on the table the architecture of business management, the strategies of financial balancing. You know, he's coming out to do that. And I think he should be given the benefit of the doubt. And I must also say too that unlike the immediate past administration, Buhari was a very honest man, filled up with integrity. But that integrity did not infect heads of departments, heads of agencies, and even the ministers. To some point, when they were recruited, they were not supervised for the 8 years. So some of the ministers saw the ministries, saw the agencies, saw the respective departments that were appointed, that those things were mere souvenir. So they administered it and grounded the entire place. So many things took place, and so appointment in the previous government became an incentive for corruption. And I want to see a situation where the present government will be able to match action in its leadership recruitment process. The right people should be recruited into the right places. They should be supervised. There should be law and order. So once those things are in place, the programs he has initiated, he has articulated, fantastic programs there are. And two, the presidency can do that. The executive can do that. The judiciary can do that. But the National Assembly, I have no doubt in my mind that the likes of Senator Godswill Akpabio is the chairman of the National Assembly, his deputy Senator Jibrin. Those two gentlemen have always said a balanced diet for any constructive and, of course, intentional government like the one we are just having now. So there is no cause to be afraid. Okay. You look at the issue of the commodity board, for example. Through smart agriculture, we have a lot of river basin development authorities in this country that through smart agriculture and various interventions in agriculture, we will be able to get there. And that is possible. But who are the manner and the quality and the caliber of persons to be recruited to man the various river basin development authorities that will be able to trigger that very issue of smart agriculture so that we will be able to have the produce, because there has to be a produce, there has to be an input. If you go through the river basin development authorities in this country, some you will not even see a common implement like tractor. They have been sold out. Most of these things have been sold out. Okay. So you can't have a commodity board if you don't have a functional river basin development authorities and similar agencies that would be able to help, in creating the platform, for the development board,
Eseme,
commodity board.
Very quickly, Eseme, there are two things that crossed my mind, but I won't put them together. I won't lump them together. I'll take it one after the other. The first one is what you just mentioned regarding the two gentlemen that are aspiring for the leadership, the top leadership in terms of number 3 and number 4 citizens of this country. I read a number of political analysts and Nigerians' questions on various platforms, and there is a convergence when it comes to what they are asking. One of the questions that seem to be generic question that a lot of people are putting out is, what is a stable National Assembly? Is it one that fights for Nigerians, or one that is fighting for party position that is status quo and rubber stamp everything the president wants? Which one is it? Is it stable because it fights for party or fight for Nigerians?
Well, you can talk about that. There are two issues here. The issue of capacity and experience and pedigree, of course, three issues. Capacity, pedigree, and experience. You can talk about rubber stamp if a particular person or a particular position is weak. That is also the issue I earlier raised of leadership recruitment process. If you take Godswill Akpabio, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for example, if you want to take him from the cubicle of pedigree or from the cubicle of capacity, from the cubicle of experience, he has it all. So you can't talk about the issue of rubber stamping when, of course, you have a clear history, you have a clear resume of the person in question. And mind you, the issue of party, you can talk about rubber stamp of the political party if, of course, the candidates or the aspirants are being foisted on the senators elect. No. At the last count, if I'm getting it right, over 80-something senators have already signed in for Godswill Akpabio across political parties. So it has nothing to do with APC. APC only did its own internal political party management. But the other persons have taken, the other members of the other political parties have taken it over because of their sincere belief, because of their conviction in who these people are. So all I want to say clearly is that the issue of the presidency or deputy presidency of the Senate is not the issue of partisanship. It's bipartisan. We have migrated from election period where there were political parties. Where we are now is the issue of the National Assembly, the issue of governance. The issue of governance is dwelling on leadership and capacity and not on the issue of those primordial expressions. So I can tell you there's not going to be anything like rubber stamping. And rubber stamping is usually used, as a matter of fact, to be able to cover up certain deficiencies, either within the executive or within the judicial, or within any arms of the government. But presently, as I tell you, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of course, is beyond doubt. you know, an enterprise manager who knows what to do at any given time. And a sustainable development template would be raised and sustained within the gamut of his presentation. So I'm telling you that we are in a new era.
Duly noted. Thank you so much. I'm just wondering, because of course there are reports that, for instance, the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor Kalu, has made it pretty clear that he will not withdraw his bid for the presidency and the 10th Senate. He's not alone in this. We understand that some are not too thrilled with the zoning formula. Just wondering what steps towards resolution might be taken in order to make sure that people are relatively satisfied with how this ends when the leaders emerge.
Well, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, as you've cited, is a senator-elect, a very reputable young man and deserving of the position of the Senate president. But he has only one vote. He would vote for himself, and whoever wants to vote will also vote for him. But I can tell you that the mere fact that he is going in has shown that Senator Godswill Akpabio and Senator Jibrin are not products of the political party, but products of potential senators. Because if it were a political party, there would have been sanctions, there would have been a process or a procedure to select and impose. But the mere fact that he and any other person have been able to, you know, establish that he has a right to contest, which is democracy. He has a right. But at the end of the day, the end will justify the means.
Well, Eseme, Eyiboh, thank you so much for your contribution. There are so many more questions, but in the coming days, we will definitely have you back on Rise News Newsday to have conversation with us.